Michigan. So, hello. I wanted to give my own review of kind of what happened at the Jedi Gathering in Michigan. And first, let me say that I think it was amazing to get to meet you all and get to experience Jedi realism, or Jedi realism, the Jedi path offline. And I'm eternally grateful for the way you guys accepted me and let me sort of engage in a way that I didn't think was possible. So, I wanted to kind of take you through my travels before I forget them. So, I started the gathering week on Tuesday, about 6 a.m. my time, when I boarded the bus to go to the airport and take my first flight to Detroit. So that was really interesting. I ended up arriving there at about 6:30 Detroit time, and reserved a hotel beforehand, really close to the airport, and was able to get my accommodations taken care of. The interesting thing is that my particular hotel was undergoing renovations. While they were undergoing these things, they did not have an elevator available. My room was actually on the second floor, but because it was too difficult for me to negotiate the steps, I asked for a room on the first floor, and was easily accommodated. So shouts out to Howard Johnson in Detroit for just making my stay there pretty fantastic. And then I ate a hamburger that was delivered to my room from, I forgot the place actually, but it was a really good hamburger. They had a lot of good stuff: fries, coleslaw, some bread, some really hard pieces of bread. And it was like soft bread and hard bread and butter, and it was interesting. And then on Wednesday, I had breakfast and I ate cold cereal, an orange, cold cereal, an orange, some apple juice, some orange juice. It was really a good breakfast, so that was provided. And I think I had a bagel or something. And so that was provided for me with the cost of my room, which was only about $80, I want to say. And so that was good. And then I got on the bus to Jackson, or the Greyhound rather, to Jackson. And while I was waiting in line, someone asked me where I was headed, and I told them I was going to Jackson. And then they asked me, I told them, or they asked me why I was going to Jackson. And then they said, and I said I'm going to go see family. Because I was a little bit concerned to tell them about what I was really going there to do, which is really interesting. So then they asked who was my family, and I just kind of explained to them that I was just sort of stopping through Jackson, and I'm going to go on to Elmont. So yeah. So what was interesting on that first day was that I was scheduled to meet Mindus at the Greyhound station. And previously, I had been told or something that Mindus was this hulk of a man or something, and that he breathes fire from his mouth. And I was a little bit concerned about what sort of person I might meet at the Greyhound station. And so I was secretly hoping that Kit would meet me at the Greyhound station rather than Mindus. But that was quickly dealt with. I actually met Mindus, who is the nicest man, just completely fantastic. He likes guns, but completely fantastic guy, and great fellow to kind of travel with and be with, and I appreciate him and Kit opening their home to me while they prepared for the pre-gathering, and really enjoyed it. And so the pre-gathering also was the time that I repainted my sticks to pink and black, and that was a lot of fun too. Actually, I was not the one who painted it. Thank you, Kit, who painted my sticks pink and black for me. Very nicely done. Appreciate your help there. What else? We went to the store in Walmart, and they sell guns in Walmart in Jackson. They sell real live guns. So that was interesting. And so I got to see a couple of guns, and I was glad they were happy to sell them. I'm not myself familiar with guns, and so it was interesting to see them at Walmart, which is not available in San Diego. I mean, the guns. Walmart is. Guns are not, as far as I know. What else is there? We had really great food. Thank you, Kit. First day at the pre-gathering, we had sandwiches, and then we had chili, and we had a barbecue, and we had fazoli's, and we had what did we have for breakfast that one day? Nope, that's all I can remember. But it was really good. And so thank you, Kit, and everyone else who helped with that. It was great. Glad to know that I did not, in fact, have to fend for myself. That was really, really, really appreciated. And then, okay, we went to the gathering on... What day was it? Friday. We went to the gathering on Friday. The gathering spot. We began the official gathering on the 27th. And I was able to ride up with Andy Spalding, whom I was also told was a giant of a man who rode in on a sword, and he happened to be the nicest man ever. So thank you, Andy, for letting me ride with you. One of the things that we discussed during our time in the car was exactly what knighthood was. And here I was thinking it was some sort of list of tasks. It is in fact not a list of tasks, but it's sort of like a mindset. Whereas, I mean, I think that now I understand that Jedi Knights rather, are going to move. They are people of action, and so that is essentially what knighthood is, as opposed to knighthoods can do knights rather can do this and that and the other I'm not aware that that is the case. And so I'm really happy to hear that it is in fact different. One other thing, during the gathering, or during the write-up with Andy, I listened to the Zelda soundtrack, which was awesome, and I am going to buy it. So thank you, Andy, for showing me that. That's great. I'm gonna find it, and as soon as I get some money, I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna experience Zelda. It's very epic. Thank you, Andy. My next video is gonna discuss some of the things I did at the gathering, and more of stuff of the pre-gathering, because I just realized that I forgot some stuff. Okay, bye. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back this time to talk about what actually happened at the gathering, and to try and give you a good sort of review of how that went down. So the gathering began on the 27th, and we had already met a lot of the people who were going to the gathering at the pre-gathering. So I had met like people like Opie, Hannigan, Charles, Louisa, other people, and Andy again, and so it wasn't really that different. No, I don't think I met Opie at the pre-gathering. I met Opie at the gathering. Anyways, we met a lot of people who were going to the gathering at the pre-gathering. I think there was about 20 people inside of the house, and we were all just sort of there, hanging out. And so that was interesting. And so we went to the gathering spot in Almond, Michigan. And there I met Paris and a lot of other people who had not made it to the gathering, like Alex, etc. So first thing, what did we do? We kind of just relaxed. I think we got there about 3 o'clock, and we got our little name tags, and then we had some fun. We probably played some games. My memory is getting foggy, so it's a good thing I'm writing this now, or recording this now. So we got there. We kind of we didn't really have any activities planned besides arriving, sleeping, etc. So I think I went to sleep at a reasonable time that day, and that was interesting. So we picked out our rooms, and I got to room with Charles and Lee and Lou, and that was interesting. And it was fun to just sort of be there with people that I had spent so much time online with, and that was great. We had quite a bit of rooms, each with about 4 beds, and that was good too. But the mattresses were really hard. But we managed to sleep pretty. I managed to sleep pretty well. Michigan is very hot and muggy. Very hot and muggy. Please do not pack long sleeve shirts and long pants to go to Michigan in the summer. I was dying. Okay, I was dying in Michigan in the summer. Okay, hot, not cold. Hot, hot and humid. So there for next year, or next whatever, whenever we decide to have it again in Michigan. Just remember that. Hot, muggy, gross. Don't pack pants and long sleeve shirts. So the real fun, I guess. No, big important thing I remember happened on Friday. I sparred a man named Alex Bird, and I got to whack him with my sticks. It was great. He actually ended up with a few flecks of my pink paint on his batons. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But anyways, those sticks he was using, he ended up with pecks of flecks of pink on those sticks. So that was interesting. And it was a lot of fun, and it gave me some great advice, and I can't say that I can defend myself now in the fight, but I'm gonna keep practicing, and I'm gonna eventually learn how to do it correctly, and it's gonna be great. So thank you, Alex. And again, I also got to spar with Andy Spalding at the pre-gathering, and maybe there's a video that Kit has showing that. So that was my first time sparring, and I think I died like 5 times. But that's the fun of sparring. You know, nobody's gonna hurt you. You know, you're in safe hands. You're just kind of testing things out. And the interesting thing is that my crutch cuff, the black part of my crutch, actually bent out. And so I have a very loose handle, or loose crutch cuff. So I'm working on how to fix that. But otherwise, really fun, a lot of fun. I really, you know what? I really enjoyed this sparring in particular because it allowed me to sort of gain an understanding of what I could do, what I was capable of, and to see that I was in fact able to spar somebody, even if I didn't win, really gave me a lot of confidence. It empowered me, and so thank you so much. Thank you again. Both of you guys were awesome. I enjoyed the melee. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Melee. But the melee where I think Lou and I were generals, and that was a lot of fun. I had no idea what was going on. It was just a bunch of people just clashing swords, and the funny part was Charles came out with his big, I don't know what it was. I think it was a spear, but he came up with this big spear with a big pole. It was like the size of me, and he was like, big man, big weapon. That was funny. And then everybody got scared because he had that big old sword, or a big weapon, and then he put it aside for like a gray sword. I remember that. That was funny. But so I try to make the teams nice and even. I think Lou got Andy and I got Mendez, and other people. I tried to like make it as even as possible. Well, I mean, based on the fact that I didn't really know anyone. But it was a lot of fun doing the sparring, and I wish I could have done more, and I'm looking forward to doing more in the future, and I'm also looking forward to sort of polishing my skills in the coming years. So look out, Alex, look out, Andy, look out, all you guys. I'm going to be a great fighter, so I'm ready. Not ready yet. I'm going to be ready 2015. Wait for it. It's going to be awesome. What I liked so much about the sparring, I think they bought a bunch of like pool noodles and sword handles, and so it was really funny to just sort of watch everyone just sort of like relax and kind of engage in the fighting, and without any real fear of getting hurt, just kind of like playing around and having a bit of fun. And that was a good way to kind of get your energy pumping and blowing off some steam or whatever. Kind of getting into the mood of the gathering. That was a lot of fun. And again, I felt really empowered by with by being able to spar. I feel my confidence has definitely risen, and I think that that first day or that first time I sparred, it really sort of set the tone for the gathering that I would experience for the next few days. And so that's what that's about. And so my next video will really go into detail about what happened at the gathering. I promise. I'm not going to keep blabbing on and on. Okay, bye. Hey guys, it's Rosalind here, and I'm here to talk about my first full day at the gathering and some of the things that I did. I may have mentioned some parts of it already in another gathering video, so I won't belabor the point. But the first day I participated in the Blood and Sand and the Feel the Force class with Karen. In addition, I went swimming that day, and also I do believe that was the time I got to sit in the green. That was the day I got to sort of sit in the green room with the candidates for knighthood, and that was an experience. So I'm just gonna go kind of through anything I didn't mention in the first two videos. So I'm gonna forego Blood and Sand and just start talking about the Feel the Force class with Karen. So the Feel the Force class was really interesting for me. There was a lot of things I did know how to do. I knew how to begin the process of feeling the force. Make a key ball. I made a key ball, and then I was able to ground the energy out. One thing I did not know how to do was expand so that I could feel the force. So that I can feel the force inside of other things. I was able to feel the personal force, but not the living force. And so I did have questions for Karen about that, and she was able to direct me to she gave me some advice, which I will definitely take to heart. The advice is that I was in fact not opening myself up enough to in fact feel the force, and so that is something that I will be working on in the coming year to progress in my training. The next thing that I did was I went swimming for some time, and I haven't been swimming in a while, and so I lost a lot of my form or whatever. What I actually ended up sort of doing was doggy paddling. So what Amy and Dan were able to do was to teach me how to do certain different strokes, including I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of like this overhand stroke. You do that, and then you kind of breathe. I don't know what it's called. That was a difficult stroke to learn, and I haven't quite mastered it yet at all. I haven't at all mastered it. And then, but I will be working on that. I'm looking forward to creating a membership to one of our gymnasiums and local gyms. And I know that the one closest to my house does in fact have a pool, so that's what I'll be doing. And I'm really excited about that. And I also learned the breaststroke, and it was really interesting because without very much work, you could get very far in the pool. And so I'll be continuing to work on that as well. So that's my plan. I hope to become really proficient at that in the coming year. My the thing about working out in the pool was that my arms actually ended up hurting after that for about 2 days. And so it's just different, learning how to use different muscles that I wasn't aware that I even had, and just continuing to build up that endurance with those muscles. And so the next thing I was able to do was sort of go in the green room with the candidates. The trials took, oh my gosh, a long time. A really long time. Or rather, the interview process took a really long time. I think we started somewhere between 9, and then we didn't get finished until about 4. Lots of things happened there, but the main thing that I really appreciate being able to do was sort of sit in with the candidates and sort of get an idea of what they were feeling, and sort of their trepidation with the knighthood process. Not really knighthood process, but sort of the idea that they're feeling that they may or may not have passed. It was interesting to see such like veterans within the community sort of shaken up by the interview questions, and really concerned, because what it did was it provided me sort of with this better view of what knighthood really is. And I don't think any of the people that we knighted this year take that responsibility lightly, and I think they really appreciated the process that they had to go through as knights to get knighted. And I really appreciate them being open about letting me into the green room. It did teach me a lot. I got to give some input in my own input into the knighthood process. I don't know if it's going to be taken into consideration in the next gathering or not, but I appreciate them being willing to listen. So thank you again so much, guys. It was a long day, but you guys made it, and then congratulations to all of you. And you guys, I'm looking forward to seeing great things from all of you, of course. And I'm looking forward to my own knighthood ceremony. If anything, this experience really kind of galvanized me towards taking my training a bit more seriously than I have been in the past 2 years or so. And so, thank you again for that. You guys are awesome. Again, I'm looking forward to sort of watching and seeing how you guys progress within your new roles as knights of the community. Congratulations again. And that ends the summary for day 1. Or rather, day 2. I don't know what day it was. Day 2. Okay. See you later. In the next video, I'm going to discuss day 3. And then we have one more video about the blot, and then I'll be done. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to talk about the gathering that recently happened in Michigan the third day of the gathering and some of the stuff that I was able to participate in. One of the things that I was able to do was to participate in our runes workshop. This day actually is a lot more educational in the sense. So we've got like runes, leadership workshop, creating communities, and shamanic journeys. It was a lot less physical. Let me say it, a lot less physical, and a lot more mental in that sense. So first thing I did was participate in a rune ceremony, rather not a rune ceremony, but a runes class. And the interesting thing is the passion that Andy showed for his subject matter. Unfortunately, because I had stayed up until 4 a.m., I found myself particularly tired and unfortunately I was very tired and was dozing off, but totally do not mean any disrespect to Andy. I think his subject matter is very enlightening, especially the way he approached it. He was concerned not about the sort of way that we divine runes, but their meanings and what the runes actually represent, and breaking some of the myths, the myths that surround the runes, and look forward to learning more about the runes as I continue on this Jedi journey, even though it's not part of my roots, as I understand. It may be there in the Italian, probably, but as far as I know, it's not there. But yeah, that was really, really refreshing, and again, I love the passion he had for his subject. It was clear. I like that he had a PowerPoint available, and I'm looking forward to getting the link from him again, or getting the link from him so that I can kind of go over that again. And it was very interesting. And again, I'm looking forward to learning more. So, the next thing I participated in was the creating communities. And originally what I thought that this would be about was how to create communities, how to go about the process. Like, what do you need? How can you get it? Some strategies, to building up those communities. What I did not expect is what we did in the workshop, which is kind of look at our knowledge base, not only ourselves, personal knowledge, but our organizational knowledge and the knowledge of the members of the community. And that was an interesting approach, and I was looking forward to something different, but that was really helpful as well. So what we do, we kind of asked ourselves, what gift do we bring to the table in a personal sense, and then what gift do we bring to the table from our organizations, and then sort of in addition, what group do we bring to the table from our jobs, I think, and then what thing do we bring? What gift do we bring to the table from our other organizations? Any other organizations that sort of do anything well that we might benefit from. And so what we found was that we have a very rich knowledge base. There's tons of gifts out there within the community that if people wanted to, all they had to do was tap into it. And this really opened my eyes to the fact that I as the only person in San Diego, was not in fact alone in wanting to create a good community, and that there was people out there with enough experience in creating these things and others like it that that I could lean on and rely on. I really appreciate Gabriel's candidness and passion about the subject matter, and I enjoyed every second of it. Really, it was a lot of fun, and I like the fact that we were outside, sort of enjoying nature while we discussed the matter. So thank you. And then the last thing I participated in was the Power of You Strength-Based Leadership. And so this goes kind of hand in hand with the Building Communities workshop. It kind of delves into a person's leadership style. And I think that this workshop really showed us that everyone has the potential to be a type of leader, even if the leader is not going to be all out front. Everybody has a specific set of strengths that makes them a good leader, or, leadership can come from anything. There's a list of maybe 100 different, or not 100, probably like 25 different traits of leadership, and or strengths of leadership, and we had to find ones that fit us. And then I imagine that in building our communities, we're going to try and find those that complement us as well. And so that should be a lot of fun. Last but not least, for this day, before I get into the blot ceremony, I wanted to talk about the shamanic journey that I went on. It was a lot of fun. It was very eye-opening. Unfortunately, I've never been one for meditation. And we were laying down, and Gabriel's voice is very soothing, and I ended up falling asleep. But I meant absolutely no offense to Gabriel. I thought the shamanic journey was a very good journey. I enjoyed the part that I was awake for, but I just think that my body was tired at that point, and so the journey that we went on was I think, reflection of the self, and so the journey that I stayed awake for was the part that I stayed awake for was kind of like. We were looking into a mirror, then we were going to step into a mirror to see a future version of ourselves, of any time in the future, and so I was there at that point. I was awake at that point, but at that point it took about 15 minutes maybe, and then by then I was done. But I do not know what else actually happened at that point. But what I liked about the shamanic journey was the breathing technique that we used, called fire breathing, which was 2 breaths in quickly from the nose, and then 1 breath out quickly from the nose. And what happens is that the level of oxygen that you put into your bloodstream raises your energy, the energy around you, and as you work with the drum, that also assists you in getting into a trance-like state, which is necessary for a good shamanic journey. And so that was a lot of fun, and thank you to Gabriel for his awesome shamanic journey. Really appreciated. But looking forward to learning more. All right, bye. Next is the blot. Okay, I'm back to talk about the blot ceremony. I was really really skeptical about the blood ceremony, and a little concerned that it was just going to be a drunken party. Uh, which it was in some sense. But what I loved about the blood ceremony is that it was a great culmination of a great weekend. Um, we finished the shamanic journey at about 10 o'clock, and then we made our way down to the labyrinth in pitch black darkness. And so I'm glad that Hannigan drove at least part of the way, because originally I was planning on walking, and it was so dark that Talon had to use his lightsaber to make a way for me. I think it was Talon. I hope it was Talon. I think so. Well, anyways, someone used their lightsaber to make a way for me. And it was a very arduous journey, but I'm glad I made it up there. So we sat down in a circle, and the first voice I think I heard was Andy's voice, sort of telling us what the blot was about, but not in any real detail. That was actually the job of Opie, who told us about the blot. He made it clear that this was not in fact a Jedi thing, and so it was just a way for us to connect to the divine energy, or whatever. It was a way for us to connect to the Force, but not necessarily Jedi in that way. And so I met a lot of people in no shirt, and I was a little concerned, but it went well with the ceremony. So the people who portrayed certain gods were the gods who were portrayed by people were Tyr, Thor, Odin, and Freya, and also Loki, but that didn't come until later. No, actually, yeah, that didn't come till later. But it was interesting, and I think this is sort of what got me. It was interesting to see in every aspect of the ritual, the blot, how passionate these people were for their beliefs. It was like literally you could feel the passion that they had as they sort of embodied their characters. And so I just want to sort of go through what happened, kind of in a nutshell. Not really that much, but let's start with Odin. Odin, he lost his right eye for the sake of knowledge, and he was concerned with. He told us as a community to seek out knowledge, that it was available to us easily. So we should seek out knowledge, because he was so thirsty for knowledge. He gave up his right eye, and so that is the only way to get to be able to survive in something called Ragnarok, which is the end of days. And so that was truly beneficial. And then next was Thor, who suggested that the use of the physical rather than knowledge was the key to surviving Ragnarok. He said that the hammer that he uses can tear down and rebuild, and that was the true source of power. And then we had Freya, who was the goddess of fertility, and she did not want to fight fertility and magic, as I understand. And she did not want to fight in Ragnarok. She wanted to take her the soldiers to to another place. And I can't remember the place, unfortunately, even though I already looked it up just to try and remember. I did not remember the place. But she wanted to take her, the soldiers, not to, that we were not going to fight in Ragnarok. We were going to go to her own city and live there forever. And that was interesting. And then the last one was Tyre. And I remember distinctly as he spoke about wanting us to come together as a community, wanting fellowship with our fellow man, that I just started crying. It was his oration was so moving, and the fact that he gave up his right hand to make that a reality made it all the more poignant. And I think because Andy is also a soldier, that it was a fitting God for him to betray, because he spends so much time defending us as a people that it makes one give pause to and give thanks to what our soldiers do for a living, which is try and create spaces for us to exist in a community free from danger. And while I listened to his oration, I was sitting there with my sacrifice, which was a rock that had my 3 goals for the year, my 3 commitments of what I was going to do as a Jedi. And I constantly wondered whether I think I started crying because I didn't know if what I was pledging was good enough. And even now I'm starting to get kind of choked up. But I mean, I was crying because I was concerned that that I wouldn't be able to follow through, that I would somehow let people down, or that I would let myself down, that I would, not make good on my sacrifice. But I was hoping that it would be good enough. Here we got people giving up their eyes and their right hands, and I'm giving a rock with my commitments, nonetheless. But I was justifiably concerned, and while I sat there, a lot of people gathered around me, kind of tried to assure me that what I was going through was perfectly normal, but that it was what I was doing was no different. I'm not gonna cry. That what I was sacrificing was no different than what he himself had sacrificed. That what I do for the community is no different than what he himself does. And I'm glad that they were there. So
I'm really happy about that. Just having people around me that have these different gifts and talents that make them and make us such a diverse and useful community. And so after making our sacrifices to the gods, we named our weapons. And there was such moving reasons and rationale for naming certain weapons that I got to learn so much more about people from the weapons they carried. I got to learn about their vulnerabilities. I got to learn about their strengths. It was a necessary process for me as a person coming into the community, the offline community, just recently. And as people were naming their weapons, I was considering the naming of my own weapon. And I was thinking about it, and I had intended to name my crutches, my sticks, officially. But when I got up there, something came over me. It was like I didn't know where I was going with the next word and the next word. I didn't know what was happening. But what I talked about, what I said really, was that I'd had CP for such a very long time, since birth really, and my sticks had symbolized what I could not do, and that they were a burden for me. But that in this gathering, I had learned that they were not necessarily a burden so much as a source of strength and a symbol of my own determination. I remember what it was like to spar people and get advice to get feedback. I remember all the things that happened to me in life. How I moved from a wheelchair to a walker, to my own stick, to walking independently. And that these sticks were not a burden. But a symbol of my own strength and determination. And so I named them Strength and Determination. And I felt a sort of peace come over me. And everybody seemed so moved. And I'm happy that I was able to provide that. But it was more of a release for me as a Jedi, because I had spent so much time wondering whether or not I could really do it. And I really didn't want to be turned down again. So I'm making a commitment to use my own strength and my own determination to make my own path. Thank you.